What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Ronan, back with another video. Sorry it took me so long. My goal was to get these out every 10 days or so, but I've been a little bit busy as of late. But I'm back now, and that's what matters. If you don't know who I am, my name's Ronan. I'm an artist, illustrator, comic book artist. I have a really cool webcomic called The Heavy. You can check it out in the description below. If you like militaristic, sci-fi drama type comics, I don't even know if that's a genre, but that's what my comic is. So check it out in the description below. I'm going to be updating it pretty soon. I've been working really hard on that. So that's coming pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. But mainly what I do with this channel is fan art. I do fan art of comic books I like, and I discuss it while I'm drawing it. So today I'm going to be working on a comic book called Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot by Geoff, Darrow, and Frank Miller. I've been doing a lot of stuff about Frank Miller lately, and I've done quite a few things. I've said quite a few things about Geoff Darrow as well. So yet another video about them. I can't help it. They make cool comic books. So yeah, let's get into the video, and I will catch up with you at the end.
So, like I said in the intro, today I want to talk about a really cool comic book from the previous creator team that I talked about in the past, which was Geoff Darrow and Frank Miller. Now, this comic book is called Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot. And I know I've been talking about both of these creators a lot lately, especially Frank Miller. I think all of the last 3 videos I've done have pretty much been about Frank Miller. But really that's just coincidence. I actually drew these and recorded these like really far in advance, so it just kind of shook out like that, you know what I mean? So although I am a big Frank Miller fan, but this wasn't on purpose. I was watching a Cartoonist Kayfabe episode about this comic, which is funny because actually I recorded this a long time ago, so I'm not doing this because Cartoonist Kayfabe did it, but they point out something really interesting where they thought it was a kid's comic when they first saw it, which you will think that they ended up making a cartoon about it and everything too, but this is not a kid's comic in the context of what I'm about to explain. So this comic book was released around '95, and it's more of a companion piece to Hard Boiled. Just like Hard Boiled, it was released in an enlarged format, 9 by 12.5. It's also like they have a black and white version, and they've also re-released it many times in different sizes, but all the sizes are oversized. And the thing about it that I really feel like makes it a companion piece is it was released in the same type of format as Hard Boiled, but it's the complete opposite of it in tone. Whereas Hard Boiled was probably one of the most violent, dystopian, even pornographic in parts comic I've probably ever read. This comic is the exact opposite. It has a sort of 1950s wholesomeness, optimism, and it's just the exact opposite. I don't even know if anyone gets killed in this comic book other than maybe the main bad guy. The main character, Big Guy, is a guy in a big robotic kind of retro futuristic suit, and he takes care to purposely try not to hurt anybody, and he often refers to a lot of the people in the comic book as taxpayers, which I thought was funny. Even the dialogue is the exact opposite of the dialogue in Hard Boiled, whereas Hard Boiled was kind of the decompressed style where there was very little talking. I don't think the main character in that, Nixon, I don't even know if that dude said 2 sentences put together. Everything he said was almost 1 sentence, and that was it at a time. In this comic, every character is overly verbose and speak in that sort of Silver Age comic book style. Very descriptive. This is not a coincidence. They really thought this out, where they wanted this to be the complete antithesis of Hard Boiled. And I think that's why I call them companion pieces. So let's get into the story. Just like Hard Boiled, this is a relatively simple comic as well. Not a lot of story in this. It's, again, just a showcase for Geoff Darrow's work. It's mind-blowing, the level of detail in it, but I'll get into that. So anyways, you got big guy, this big guy, like I said, this guy in a big old robot suit. And then you got Rusty the Boy Robot, who's kind of like an analog for Astro Boy. So the story takes place in Tokyo. A bunch of scientists are like, I don't know what kind of experiment this is. They're doing some weird experiment. And they release some kind of primordial monster. And he grows and gets bigger and bigger and turns basically into a big old kaiju. He looks like a big old T-Rex with a lot of extra arms. And he's, destroying the city, and he's transforming all the citizens into little minions of his, little monsters. And he's also, like I said, he's overly verbose. He talks so much. It's kind of funny. And so the authorities have their little robot guy, Rusty the Boy Robot, and they send him up against the kaiju. So the monster is never really given a name or anything, but basically he just kind of kicks Rusty's butt in like 2 seconds flat. So the Japanese end up calling on Big Guy to come save him. So Big Guy shows up and engages with the kaiju and ends up saving the day. And as a reward, the Japanese give him Rusty the Boy Robot. And he doesn't seem to want to have Rusty by his side. So he's kind of a reluctant role model for Rusty. So I didn't talk a lot about Geoff Darrow at the beginning of this because I spoke about him in the previous video on Hard Boiled as far as his history or whatever. But much like I said, Hard Boiled, this comic book, you buy it for the insane art. And I mean, this is just, this comic's on another level. I think Hard Boiled came out in 92 and this came out in 95. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was working on this comic book the whole time. I mean, some of these pages had to take me at least a week or two to do. The level of detail in them is just mind-boggling. One thing about this one that I think is a little bit different, makes it a little bit more difficult for him to draw, is he draws a lot of buildings in this and from so many different angles, a lot of them from the air. And again, he doesn't skimp, he doesn't cheat. He draws every single window on every single building and every single panel from every angle, and that's what makes it really difficult because when you're drawing like a character who's walking through a scene or whatever, in every panel the wrinkles are going to be different. They're going to change their clothes, their face, their hair. I mean, their face is not going to change, but you get what I'm saying. But when you're drawing a building, the windows are spaced a certain distance from each other, and if you mess it up just a little bit, it's going to be glaringly obvious, unlike on something organic like a person. So for him to have drawn all of these windows, all these buildings, all these different types of buildings, he draws all of the lights and all types of signage on them from all kind of angles. It's just crazy. I cannot believe that a human being did this. There's no other comic artist who would do something like this. I don't know of any comic book that looks even that puts half as much effort into it as this comic does, or rather that Geoff Darrow puts into it. He also, I don't know if I spoke of this last time, but he also doesn't really use any shadows, and that makes it a lot harder because you can't hide anything, you can't cut any corners. You have to draw everything, and you also have to have a really good colorist when you're not using any shadows. And this has the same colors from the Hard Boiled comic. His name's Claude Legree. I want to give him a shout out because it's really well done on this. And colors don't get a lot of props when they do a lot of the heavy lifting sometimes. And finally, another one of the extremely difficult things that he does regularly is he's very much into like a retro 50s futuristic kind of style. And a lot of the shapes of the vehicles and things like that at that time, which you'll notice the big guy, his suit and his vessel that he flies in kind of looks like that. It looks like an old Cadillac or whatever. That stuff is super hard to draw. It's not angular and it's not technically round. There's a lot of like flowing volumes and a lot of shapes that are kind of like sloping, and then all that thin trim on them. It's kind of like an in-between shape, and it's very annoying to have to draw this stuff. So like I said in the previous video, I don't have heroes because I'm a grown-ass man. But if I did, it'd probably be Geoff Darrow. I was trying to keep this video kind of short, but because there's not really much to say about it, and I've already explained Geoff Darrow in the past. So this is going over a little bit. So anyways, I was going to do a really complex drawing or a really complex background, but I got to a certain point. I was just like, no, I like this kind of simple like this. Like, I love iconic imagery, and drawing a complex background in this just didn't seem to work. So yeah, I just went with this. As usual, I'll be posting this on my Instagram, so go over there and give me a follow.
So that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, sorry for being a little bit late, but I'll get them out on a more regular basis from now on, hopefully. But anyways, if you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, and share too. If you want, you don't have to, but it would help me out. And I will catch you next time. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know. I think maybe I'm going to do an art vlog next time instead of a drawing video, but we'll see. But anyways, I appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I will catch you next time. All right, peace.